Something has gone terribly wrong inside my house. I can't explain how or why. I barely even believe that it has happened at all. Frankly, I have nowhere to turn, no one who would believe me even if I did. So I'm typing this up and posting it here. It's the only option I have. My name is Eric. I am nobody special. Early 30s, single, trapped in a dead-end job typing away inside a cubicle. I've lived in this house for nearly 5 years now. A nice 2-story suburban place with a clean and safe community. The neighbors are friendly, but I keep to myself. Always have. Nothing special. Until now. This is my story. I wake up on a dreary gray Saturday morning, clouds hanging low in the sky and threatening to unleash a dismal drizzle at their slightest whim. The sour weather kept the street quiet. Normally Saturday mornings were punctuated with the sounds of playing children and the ring of bicycle bells, but today it seems everyone was content to stay within their homes and watch the rain roll above town. As I swing my legs over the side of my bed and wipe the sleep from my eyes, I shoot a glance at my dull digital alarm clock. 9 a.m. I let out a short sigh. There's really no point to sleeping in, really no point to getting up. I have no plans, no responsibilities until the work week starts anew. I sit for a few minutes, spaced out on the edge of my bed. Finally, I rise and wander to the kitchen to start the coffee pot. As I tiredly walk through the hall and down the stairs, I hear the rain start to patter against the shingles above. Going through the motions like a robot with a failing battery, I prepare the coffee maker, half listening to the steaming put-put-put as the percolator does its daily work. After a moment of staring blankly, my sleep-addled mind begins to wander, becoming jealous of the little machine. At least it always has something to do, some kind of purpose, no matter how mundane. Who knows how long I stood there blankly, half asleep and debating the metaphysical purpose of a kitchen appliance. By the time I shifted my eyes downward, the carafe was full of hot black coffee. Halfway coming to my senses, I reached to the cupboard and produced my favorite mug. A simple white ceramic thing printed on one side with the phrase "Coffee Time" in plain black lettering. Filling the mug to the brim with scalding hot coffee and a heaping spoonful of sugar, I drowsily turn around to place my drink on the kitchen table behind me. As I place the mug down, it loses its balance on the edge, plummeting down. I'm struck with dull surprise as my sleep-addled brain tries to process what is happening, to spur my reflexes into action. But there is no shattering crash. My bare feet are not bombarded by a spray of splintered ceramic glass and boiling liquid. In fact, there is nothing at all. I blink rapidly, shaking myself to my senses. My mug had fallen off the edge into the middle of the table. In the center of my kitchen table, there is a large, perfectly circular hole, probably just under 3 feet in diameter. I stare in confused disbelief as I take in the sight. The hole is dark, inky blackness, oppressive even up to the lip of the drop, defiant of the weak gray light that filters through my rain-spattered kitchen windows. Though it's impossible to tell for sure just how deep it is due to the choking shadows within, the hole seems to extend deeper than my eyes can strain to see. Shocked and confused, I lean down to look under the table to get a better look at the pit. Stooping under the table, I see nothing but my kitchen floor. No hole, no coffee mug, just some crumbs of past meal I had neglected to sweep up. I crane my neck to look at the underside of the tabletop from below. It is perfectly intact. Thinking I must be losing my mind, I rise back up to my feet. The hole is still there, a black fissure in the center of my table. I slowly lean over the edge to take a tentative look at the depths. The darkness is impenetrable, hiding anything that could be below. I wave my hand past the threshold of the pit, expecting to impact with the wooden tabletop. My fingers sink into the hole. The air inside is frigid, cold, and heavy with sticky moisture. As I recoil from the shock of freezing temperatures and putting my hand through a void in my own table, my hand brushes against the edge of the hole. Though the table is wooden, the edges of the hole have the feel of smooth porcelain or textureless hard plastic. I pull back my arm, bringing it up to my face. My hand is shaking from fear and the cold it had just been plunged into. Rivulets of icy dew have formed on my fingertips, running down past my wrist as I hold my digits before my eyes. Is all I manage to dumbly mumble as I try to process the absurd situation I now found myself in. Outside, the rain intensified to the sound of distant thunder, shifting from a sweeping drizzle to a hard pattering shower. It is only then that I notice the shift in the air. A subtle, gentle breeze pulls at the tiny hairs on my arms. No windows should be open. I check every night before I go to sleep, especially if rain is in the forecast. The AC isn't running, it isn't even switched on, and yet the air still moves within my kitchen. Pull in, pause. Push out, pause. Pull in, pause. Push out. My guts twist inside me as I understand. The hole, or something inside it, is breathing. I take a tiny step backwards as the thunder rolls overhead. The hole continues to breathe. Panic starts to well inside me, a primal misunderstanding of what lay before me inside my own home. I reel back, raising my leg to kick at the offense to physics in some impotent animalistic way. I slam my bare heel into the edge of the table, a heavy pushing blow to skid the piece of furniture away from me. The kick connects with all the force I can muster. My knee jams and creaks under the pressure, screaming with pain. I feel my foot bend and pop, bruises surely already forming. Crashing back to support myself on the counter that holds my faithful coffee maker, I stare down the pit in my table. I wince as I put weight back on the foot I used to kick. I used to play soccer in high school. That was good form on that kick. The table was just some crappy IKEA model. Lightweight particle board and some screws. It couldn't have weighed more than a handful of pounds. But there it was, defiant in its mobility. Still, the hole breathed, unperturbed by my attack. Slowly creeping forward, I approached the table again. Thunder rolled above my house, shaking the windows in their frames. The hole waited there patiently. Leaning over the table, I craned my neck to stare down into the void once more. The inexplicable pocket of nothing located in the middle of my kitchen. Well, not nothing, presumably. Something that breathes. And my coffee mug. I peer into the blackness below, squinting to catch a glimpse of anything at all. As I stare, condensation forms on the smooth edges of the hole, the chill air within forcing the rampant humidity to cling to and run down the sides. It reminded me of that footage you see of a micro camera fed down an old pipe. No, not quite. Perhaps it was closer to the film shot within a body during surgery, or an anatomical study. The dripping sides moved ever so slightly with the breeze of breaths, undulating almost imperceptibly like an esophagus. Hello? I call feebly into the hole, almost immediately feeling extremely foolish. This was an inexplicable pit in my kitchen table. Why would there be anything that would speak to me inside of it? And if there was, would I really want to? There was a long moment of quiet, with only the noise of the rain outside echoing through the house. Hello? My blood turned to ice and my breath caught in my throat. A small voice echoed up from the hole, seemingly from some considerable distance. My voice? An echo? It had to be. It made more sense than anything else this morning. With all the courage I could muster, I spoke again. Anyone down there? A second of silence. Then a voice. My voice. Yeah, hello? The words drifted up out of the hole. Not an echo, but a true response. My heart began to race. What the hell was down there? It sounded like me, but there's no way that could be. Shaking, I brought myself to speak. Hey, I'm Eric. Who are you? My name's Eric too. We sound a lot alike, came the voice from my table. Yeah, we really do. I slowly responded, unsure of exactly what I was speaking with. Could this really be me? Another me? Or even the same me? So, what are you doing in my kitchen table? My voice in the hole seemed perplexed. In your table? I was just about to ask you what you're doing in my ceiling. Wait, what? In your ceiling? Yeah, the other me responded. You're in a hole about 3 feet across in the ceiling of my kitchen, right next to the red stain. My eyes wandered upwards. Above my kitchen table, offset from the hole, was an old faded red stain. It was the only reminder of a desperate battle I had waged against the jar of spaghetti sauce nearly 3 years ago. I could never be bothered to clean it all the way off. You threw a mug of coffee at me, busted all over my kitchen table, scared the hell out of me when it hit. That's when I noticed the hole. My mind was racing. Was this really another me? In another of my house? In another of my world? The possibilities were maddening. Why had this hole appeared in my house? My table? I wasn't anyone special. Hey! You still there, Eric? The voice from below echoed up. Yeah, I'm here, I responded, snapped out of my contemplation. If what I'm thinking is true, and I think it is, then you and I are very similar, and I think we're thinking the same thing. I think? I took a second to process that. Yeah, I think. So this could be big, right? My voice tentatively asked from the hole. Yeah, this could be big. We should meet. Make this real. Make it make sense? Yeah, I suppose. You could come down here, Eric? The other Eric asked quietly. The question sent a chill down my spine. Climb down a hole out of space and time in the center of my kitchen for what I knew could be an utterly deadly alternate place? The proposition didn't sit right. I wasn't even entirely sure who I was talking to. I don't know about that, I responded. We don't know how long this hole or whatever it is actually is. It could be dangerous, you know? If I slip, I could fall for miles for all we know. The voice was quiet for a while. The rain continued its endless assault on the glass of my windows as thunder bellowed above. That's okay, Eric. I can come up there. Okay, I guess. I stuttered, caught off guard. Yeah, don't worry, Eric. I can make the climb. The voice shifted from side to side in the hole, as if the source was moving within it. Yeah, all right. I took a step back away from my table. This didn't feel right. None of this made sense, but this felt very, very wrong. My pulse quickened. Within the hole, the sound of squirming movement began, the noise of something dragging itself up the chill and moisture-slick sides of the void. The slithering climb grew closer by the moment. Below, I could see only blackness. My voice spoke again from within the hole, closer this time. I'm excited to see you, Eric. I think we'll have a lot in common. I'm excited to meet your side of this hole. It seemed strained with effort as it worked its way upwards. Yeah, I'm sure we will, I responded absent-mindedly. My mind was racing with indecision. Maybe we can have some coffee together, Eric. Black with lots of sugar. My voice was ascending ever closer. In the darkness below, I could just barely begin to make out a shape moving in the hole, worming its way upward. The inky shadows hid the details of Eric as he climbed towards me. Something snapped in my head as I realized what was bothering me. Whatever was in the hole had told me its name was Eric after I told it that was mine. Mentioned its kitchen after I brought up mine. Could see the stain on the ceiling by looking up through the hole. Could taste how I took my coffee by lapping up what I had dropped. Whatever was down there, it wasn't me. Don't worry, Eric. I'm almost there. Can't wait to meet you, Eric. The voice was close now. Mine, but different. Wrong. I hurriedly glanced down the hole in my table. The shape was almost close enough to see in the oppressive dark, an undulating and writhing thing oozing upwards from the cold, wet place that waited below. Its thin, probing tendrils began to breach into the dim gray light of my home. I spun about, looking for anything I could use to fend off the thing that used my name. My eyes landed on the only thing within arm's reach.
Eric, it's time for me to meet you, Eric.
The thing slithering from the hole wasn't even attempting to use my voice anymore, its words spilling forth in an awful, gurgling rasp. I spun back toward the hole in my kitchen table, coffee maker in hand. I raised it high above my head before bringing it down in a mighty arc. It sailed from my grasp, plunging down into the void and impacting the thing below with a sound of shattering glass and metal against soft flesh. With a hissing howl, the thing screeched as it fell, plunging back down the pit. I never heard it hit the bottom. I slumped back against the counter that once held my loyal coffee maker, sliding to the floor. I gasped for breath, adrenaline purging itself from my system. More sounds have begun to emanate from the hole, slithering, writhing. Dozens of voices calling my name, beginning their cramped climb upwards. I know that these will be my final few minutes, quiet solace amongst the sounds of the storm outside. I only hope that these words find someone who can help, who can come close the hole in my kitchen table for good, before whatever is on the other side spills over completely. I sit here and think of my purpose, the purpose of all of us, the things in the hole, my coffee maker. They're getting close now. Eric, Eric, they whisper. Their tendrils are reaching out for our world. I could really go for that cup of coffee about now.